Well, earlier this week at the DNC, Bernie Sanders supporters are out in full force for their candidate and his cause. Although he couldn't clinch the nomination, and like the obedient little revolutionary he is, he endorsed Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton channeled some of his attitudes toward Wall Street and the big banks in her acceptance speech. Here's part of what she said.
I believe Wall Street can never, ever be allowed to wreck Main Street again.
But when the socialist is away, the capitalist will play. The New York Times reports the top Wall Street donors have flooded into Philly, and as soon as the nominee became clear, they sent their dough to Hillary. Does this mean that Hillary's dream is over? Rather, Bernie's is over? How will his supporters react to all this? Joining us now is one of them. Tezlyn Figaro is the director, former director of Justice and Media for the Sanders campaign. I messed up the script. We're glad to see you this morning, Tezlyn. So the Wall Street Journal has this kind of amazing piece yesterday that shows where hedge fund operators have been sending their money. 7 top hedge funds have sent $48 million to Hillary Clinton. Meanwhile, they sent $19,000 to Donald Trump. And yet she's the one who says she's going to clean up the financial services industry. Does that seem credible to you?
Well, you know, it's the same thing that has been happening in the Democrat Party for year over year. It's just no one has had the guts to expose it. When time and time again we've been asked to get on, you know, the train, and Moses is going to lead us to the freedom and the promised land, but right before it's time to cross the bridge, we're told that the joke is on us. You know, when you look at the New York Times article with former Governor Charlie Crist saying, quote, "This is the place to be," in the Ritz-Carlton, running around chasing Wall Street donors, when in 2014 he was in Florida at St. John Baptist Church saying that the church was the place to be. Time and time again, people have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and led astray with being told one thing on the left and then doing another thing with the right. And I think that the people are over it. They're tired of it. They're sure there will be people that will line up behind Hillary Clinton as expected, but there's also individuals like me who are independent voters, independent thinkers, that are saying that the jig is up. We figured it out. We know that we're being told one thing and you're doing something else on the other side.
So, I mean, why do you suppose, we don't know, but let's speculate a little bit. Why do you suppose that hedge fund managers would be sending money to Hillary Clinton? Could it be to preserve certain tax carve-outs that they benefit from?
Sure, absolutely, and to preserve the relationships that they've had over the last 20-plus years that the Clintons have ran the Democratic Party. I was a Clinton supporter before Barack Obama, but then after I began to work on these campaigns, see where the money is going, see how the money is not being distributed equally, particularly among African-American vendors, particularly among Hispanic vendors, I have figured out that we have been told something different on one hand and the other. It is ran by the big banks. I noticed in her speech she talked about everything except how she was going to truly keep Wall Street from running, you know, her positions, and that's just simply just not going to happen.
Well, so it's very confusing because Donald Trump's rhetoric on trade and Wall Street is much closer to Bernie Sanders than Hillary Clinton's, and yet just the other night you saw Bernie Sanders unequivocally endorse Hillary Clinton. Why would he do that if he's a sincere revolutionary?
I don't know. That's why I'm wondering, was it really a sincere revolution? You know, again, being told one thing and doing another, and people are disappointed. You know, I did work on the campaign. It was a great experience. I'm an independent, fiscal independent. I am not a socialist. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a capitalist. I worked with Bernie Sanders because I believe that someone was finally speaking for the outsiders. And unfortunately, the messages are mixed and people are confused. And so I urge Republicans, independents, Democrats to really take a look and see what it is that you're signing up for. I was very disturbed to hear the song "Sign, Seal, Deliver, I'm Yours." The question is, what are you signing up for and what are they delivering?
Exactly. You know who's really for the status quo, who's really against any kind of challenge to the people in power? The media. Have you noticed this? What is that about?
Oh, I mean, I think the relationships have been bonded for so long that people believe what their elected officials, you know, have told them that this is where we need to be. This is who's done, you know, the most for Democrats and particularly African Americans. But when you really peel apart the onion and really look and see who's paying who and why, and as voters continue to become more educated with people like me who are willing to stand up and say, no, I'm not just going to fall in line with the status quo, I think we'll be able to see some changes soon. Hopefully soon.
Yeah, it's weird to see the New York Times and Politico become little foot soldiers for the Hillary campaign in Wall Street. Pretty weird. Thanks a lot for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you.